Choosing the right home care provider for yourself or for a loved one is a very important decision. So, to ensure you make the best choice, you have to ask the right questions. In this video, we will discuss the key questions you should ask when selecting a home care provider. Are you ready to learn more? Let's go. So the first question to ask a potential home care provider is about the range of services that they offer. So it's important to understand whether or not they can even meet your specific needs or the needs of your loved one. So here's some questions to ponder. So what type of care services do you offer? So for example, some may only offer what we call homemaker and companion services or no-touch services, right? So some may offer both homemaker and companion services as well as personal care services or what we call touch services. You can see some examples here on the screen. Also, if there are any special medical conditions or requirements, make sure to ask if those can be accommodated. Ensuring that a home care provider is licensed and insured is vital for your peace of mind. So here are some questions to ask. Are you licensed by the appropriate regulatory agency in our area? So in the state of Florida, for example, home care organizations are required to be licensed through the Agency for Healthcare Administration. Also, another question you can ask is, can you provide proof of insurance, including both liability and workers' compensation insurance? So liability insurance can provide clients and their families peace of mind, knowing that the home care provider has measures in place to handle potential mishaps and will take responsibility if something goes wrong. So for example, accidents, injuries, or damage that may occur while care is being provided. Also, workers' compensation insurance can help cover the cost of medical treatment, rehabilitation, and lost wages if a caregiver is injured while working in the client's home. And certainly it does happen sometimes. Workers' compensation also helps to minimize the liability of clients and their families by protecting them from being held financially responsible for any injuries sustained by a caregiver on their property. In other words, it ensures that the caregiver's medical expenses and related costs are covered by the insurance rather than by the client or their homeowner's insurance. Reliable scheduling and backup caregivers are essential to maintain consistent and uninterrupted care. So consider asking, how do you handle scheduling? Can I set specific days and times for the caregiver to visit? And what happens if a scheduled caregiver is unavailable or unable to come? Do you have a backup caregiver system in place to ensure continuity of care? Make sure you ask those questions. Selecting trustworthy and qualified caregivers is crucial for a positive home care experience. So here are some questions to ask. Do you conduct comprehensive background checks, including criminal records and references? And here's something important, and it's one of the reasons why it's important to select a licensed provider. So at a minimum, and as required by Florida regulations, licensed home care organizations are all required to verify level 2 background screening results processed by the background screening unit at the Agency for Healthcare Administration. So the background screening is a state and national fingerprint-based criminal history check used by the background screening unit to decide on eligibility or ineligibility to provide services to children, the elderly, and disabled individuals. These screening results are good for 5 years and are maintained in what we call the ACA clearinghouse. If there is a criminal offense that happens, the clearinghouse is notified almost immediately through its interface with the Florida Department of Law Enforcement. And once that happens, the home care organization is notified. You might also ask the question, what training and qualifications do your caregivers possess, to get an idea of the abilities of the provider's staff? It's also crucial to understand how a home care provider manages emergencies and maintains effective communication. So here are some questions to ask. Is there someone available to assist or answer questions 24/7? Or do they only have calls answered during normal business hours? Also, how do you keep families informed about their loved ones' well-being? What communication methods do you use? Also, What is your protocol for handling emergencies or unexpected situations? These are great questions to ask. Also, understanding the cost and payment process is essential. So be sure to ask, what are the costs associated with your services? Are there different rates for different levels of care? Also, how often do you bill for services? Do I pay before or after services are rendered? And what are my payment options? So for example, e-check, credit card, check, etc. How do I pay? Also, if you have long-term care insurance, you may ask if the agency will do an assignment of benefits where they will work directly with the insurance company for billing and payment. And depending on your situation, you may also ask if the agency accepts any government-funded programs such as Medicaid or VA benefits. And lastly, what are the contract terms? For example, what is the cancellation policy? Or in other words, how much notice to terminate the contract, or how much notice to simply cancel a shift? And is there a minimum duration for shifts and or a minimum number of hours per week? Asking these questions will help you make an informed decision when selecting a home care provider. Remember, it's important to trust your instincts and choose a provider that aligns with both your needs and your values. Home care can provide the support and assistance needed to maintain a high quality of life. So by asking the right questions, you can find the perfect home care provider for you or your loved one. For more information and for answers to many questions about home care, feel free to go to our website and download our complimentary Florida Home Care Guide that I created to help others navigate the home care landscape in the state of Florida. Depending on what platform you're using to watch this video, you will see the link in the comments or in the description of the video. And if not, simply put homehelpershomecare.com/Bradenton in your browser and then navigate to resources, free guides, and then look for the current version of our Florida Home Care Guide in the menu. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. Take care, and until next time, we'll see you soon.